Well, hello, all new layout featuring Professor Warwick. One new name every time so far, it seems. The arrest report says Claire killed David. I've underlined some things to ask her about. I wonder if Bryce buried David. What happened with Ben? Ask patients about the paper spike. Too much to do already. Oh, there's a lot going on here. Okay. Claire's arrest report. Statement of Christian Weber, police officer 7691. To the best of my knowledge, the statement is true. I understand I may be prosecuted if I stated anything that I know to be untrue. November 9th. At 20:40 hours on Tuesday 8th November, myself and PC 9725 Holt responded to a call received from a neighbor of the Bauer House, Weston Park Avenue, concerning a reported disturbance. We arrived at the address and knocked on the front door, but there was no reply. We then examined the rear of the property and gained entry through insecure patio doors. We entered the property through this door, and I announced myself by shouting police, but did not hear any response. We searched the premises. Upon entering the dining room, I saw a female seated next to a man who was lying on the ground. The man did not appear to be conscious. Both persons were drenched in blood, and there was a substantial amount of blood on the carpet, walls, and furniture. I noted what appeared to be a steak knife on the floor, which was also covered in blood. At this point, I asked the woman to put her hands on her head, which she did. PC Holt secured the female while I checked the man for signs of life, but found none. I asked the woman her name, and she identified herself to me as Claire Castleford. I asked if she knew the dead man, and she said he was her husband, David Castleford. I asked what had happened, and she said that she had killed him. Following a search by PC Holt, which revealed no other persons present at the house, I said to Castleford at 20:52 hours, "You are under arrest on suspicion of murder." I then cautioned her and placed her in the back of the police car for transport to Weston Park Police Station, where I relayed the circumstances of the arrest to PC 2354 Hill, who authorized her. I don't think I can scroll anymore. Nope. So Claire killed her husband. That's kind of a big deal. Crime scene report. 14th February 2017. Dekker. Position of victim. The victim was located in his office, seated in a chair behind the desk, soaked in blood, with an obvious chest wound. Possible murder weapons. Paper spike. Desk accessory. 150mm long, protruding from the approximate region of the victim's heart. Made of paper. That's unusual. Coroner's initial finding. Time of death estimated from liver temperature measurements to be between 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. 14:02:17. Note that victim's body was reportedly discovered at 10:20 p.m. Oh, wait, no, because it's a range anyway. So they were the victim was found pretty quickly, to the point where they were within the estimated time of death they would have had from liver, according to the liver, which of course is a 2-hour range, but still. Cause of death: exsanguination due to puncture of the left arterial descending coronary artery. Death would have occurred within minutes of the, wounding attack or something. Let's see, arrows, WASD, clicking, mouse wheeling. Nope, can't scroll any further. That's a really weird idea of not being able to read an entire document because it clips off the screen. But I think we all the information that's important. Obviously, we gotta ask Claire, but let's ease into it. How are you today?
I've been to the lake house regularly, keeping an eye on David. I saw the girl again, the one I told you about. She was playing outside.
The girl?
I'm getting tired of all these questions. I'm getting tired of everything.
Okay then, playing.
I don't know.
The girl. You saw the girl?
Think, Doctor, think. Use your...
The girl was playing outside.
I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy. I just watched her from the bedroom window. She'd caught a fish. She was holding it in her hands.
The fish?
I wasn't close enough to see, but for all intents and purposes, it looked as if the fish bit her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive.
What was that? I don't think that was going to leave an
I don't
answer.
know what you're after.
I didn't think so. I just was curious. Once I caught a fish alive.
You tell me.
Alright. Oh, that was a real answer.
You tell me. What could possibly explain that?
What, that they caught a fish? Huh. What do you know about the girl?
Sorry.
Nope. Alright. Let's ask about the paper spike.
A paper spike is an odd thing to use as a weapon. I suppose if it went directly into the heart, it might work. Or through his eye, or perhaps through the ear into his brain. Or was it just a frenzied, bloody mess of a murder? Do you know, Doctor?
You are really actively creepy, aren't you? Yes, I know about the murder.
That's what it says. I can see you're confused. The police say that David is dead, fatally wounded when I stabbed him. The coroner says that David is dead. Everyone says that David is dead. There was even a funeral. But I know he's alive.
Well, I tried to respond to the question about the paper spike, but instead she launched into David. As you can imagine, it's a little confusing trying to figure out what phrasing to use in a game like this about two different murders when you're talking to the same person. Yes, I know about Dekker's murder scene. That's not gonna work. It even goes back to David's death again, even though I said David now, Dr. Dekker now. That's confusing it. Alright, fine then. Why do you think David is alive? So, that was also a David thing, maybe?
You tell me. What could possibly explain that?
What could possibly explain that? So that was, she wasn't talking about the fish, she was talking about the... Wow. Yeah, the system for the dialogue in this game is getting really weird now, because now we have somebody, she's using weird phrases about weird little rhymes about a fish being alive, and talking about two different murders, and asking about any of them can lead to asking about a different thing entirely, and not knowing which word precisely, because the game doesn't tell you. You don't necessarily know which exact thing you said caused that specific branch to happen. Things get weird. Okay. Let's ask about the coroner then?
I don't know, Doctor.
Or it's a coroner.
That's not relevant here.
Okay, fine. Conspiracy?
I'm afraid I don't know the answer.
Trying to figure out what you... Alright.
That's what it says. I can see you're confused. The police say that David is dead, fatally wounded when I stabbed him. The coroner says that David is dead. Everyone says that David is dead. There was even a funeral. But I know he's alive.
Why did you hold a funeral for a person who is alive?
He's buried at Henley Church. You can go see for yourself. There's even a headstone. One of your other patients was a pallbearer. I never forget her face. You should ask him.
We're going back to Henley Church a lot, aren't we? Henley Church.
Try asking me something.
Okay, fine then. Fatally wounded.
David wanted to have a talk about our relationship. Not something any married person wants to hear. He said he'd been with Iris for about a year and that he loved her. He said he didn't love me anymore. Which I know is a lie. You don't just fall out of love with somebody. I reacted badly. I grabbed the nearest weapon I could find, which happened to be the steak knife, and stabbed him with it. There was so much blood. I instantly regretted it. So I fixed him.
Welp. So she cracked from emotional trauma, probably. Also, yes, people totally do fall out of love. Ask people who have had 3 divorces. So she reacted poorly, grabbed a thing, lashed out because she was emotional about the fact that, like, she's being revealed this grand betrayal, then gets even more emotionally distraught when she realizes what she's done, and the wishful thinking part of your brain, the part that makes you think, oh, I can fix this, took over and became supposedly literal, and so she started thinking she really could fix him, but that's not how a heart stabbing really works. Fix him?
It was about a week later. I brought David back to life. Not with voodoo, not with virginal sacrifice. I just willed it to happen, and it did. Doctor Dekker told me it was possible, but only if you're not buried. He says once you're in the ground, there's no coming back. But until then, you have a chance at resurrection.
Okay. So first of all, she was apparently dead for a week and resurrected, which, like, super brain dead at that point, unless you're dealing with super magic stuff, but of course that's not gonna happen. You gotta be really detached from reality to think that you can will someone back to life just by really wanting them back, because, like, almost everyone who dies has people that want them back at that point. By resurrection?
Yes, resurrection. But now that I've seen the results, I don't think there's anything holy about it. I think reanimation is more an accurate term. Like, I'm an evil necromancer raising things from the dead.
So you think that the body got back up? You said it doesn't talk, right? So, like, was it just like a flesh golem, basically, just walking around? The appearance of David, but not the person, necessarily? There was a funeral, but was he buried ever? Or is there really, like, a necromanced body at her place? Let's try necromancer.
David was dazed and confused when I brought him back to life, as you'd expect. He was scared. He didn't want me to go near him at first, which is understandable, as I did kill him. But I didn't really succeed in bringing him back. He wasn't a big talker before, but even monosyllabic words were more than what he seemed able to give me.
So he's not a talker anymore.
Think, Doctor, think.
Nope, not going there with that. David can't talk?
He made sounds. I could understand him a bit. I thought he'd improve with time, like a child learning to talk, but he didn't. It's only recently that I've come to that conclusion that he's not going to get better. He's not going to be right again. I think it's his brain. At least he is safe where he is.
What do you mean by safe where he is? Where is he? Are you talking about... Is his brain still in his body? No, okay. When people pass on, you often think about the idea, like, then now they're in a better place, but she's talking about, like, literally her body's in a safe place. The current body, because it's on that location that she always visits.
At the lake house. He doesn't move from there. For good reason.
For good reason? I'm just gonna follow up on what they say.
David shouldn't be alive, so he can't just stroll around the neighborhood. It's unseemly. I did think he'd be able to rejoin society at some point, but not anymore. He's getting worse, not better.
How is he getting worse? David getting worse.
I don't know.
Worse.
Sorry.
Get getting worse?
I'm getting tired of all these questions.
Try rejoin society.
Try asking me something I might...
Okay. Can I see David?
That's not relevant here.
Kind of is. Can I meet David?
I don't know what you're after.
That's not going anywhere. Alright, it was worth a shot. Let's go back to the resurrection point.
Yes, resurrection. But now that I've seen the results, I don't think there's anything holy about it. I think reanimation is more an accurate term. Like, I'm an evil necromancer raising things from the dead.
I could try results, but I feel like it's just going to point at something we've already tried.
I think his brain was already decaying during the week that he was dead. Important bits. So when I brought him back to life, I didn't heal him completely. Just gave him life in the state he was in. I mean, he's hunting and killing things and trying to roast them on fires he can only light with matches, but that's about it. He's your basic Neanderthal. So I have a problem.
A problem.
I'm being charged with murder because the police don't know he's still alive, and I can't get David to vouch for me for obvious reasons. I think it would raise quite a few more questions than answers, which is why I'm hoping that you'd be able to help me.
Does she want me to plead for her insanity or something, or get some sort of out that a psychiatrist could? Because, I mean, you're being charged for murder because you're a murderer. You killed him, regardless. That part's definitely true. Bringing him back a week later as a weird nightmare monster doesn't change the fact that you still do kill people, apparently, or have once. Help?
I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that.
Didn't she say she needed my help? That was a long one, actually.
I'm being charged with murder because the police don't know he's still alive.
You're being charged with murder.
Considering the circumstances, I'd be grateful if you could see your way to declaring me temporarily insane at the time of the murder. To lessen my sentence. Because I'm not a killer. But I can't prove otherwise. You don't still think I'm a killer, do you, Doctor?
You did kill David.
I don't know, Doctor.
Yes, you killed David. Alright, well that's not going anywhere. Yes, you are a murderer.
At worst, it's manslaughter. I didn't mean to kill him, I just stabbed him a bit. And although he was dead for a week, I brought him back to life. Does this mean you won't help me? Was I temporarily insane?
I mean, if I can't see David, I can't confirm either, and it seems like you might still be insane, at the very least. Temporarily insane kind of feels like one of those really convenient things that someone would go for as an excuse, as opposed to a reality of a situation, like the idea of like, oh yeah, I was conveniently insane for only the exact moment I was doing things that were illegal, and then I was no longer insane immediately before and afterwards. Isn't that interesting? It's like it's probably more of a long-lasting trauma than that, and it's very possible she's still insane, which might, or she might have other issues to work out if she's seemingly kind of, honestly, just kind of detached from what she actually did. You are still insane.
Try asking me something.
Yes, you are insane.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all I needed to hear. From you or Dr. Dekker. But Dr. Dekker wouldn't do that for me. He wanted something else.
I'm trying to say that you're insane right now, but that's not really working, is it? Something else.
Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my electability. He didn't believe I'd reanimated David. Once, he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl.
Dekker mentioned the girl.
He told me he'd locked up a girl in the basement of his house. Just for me. And he asked me to reanimate her. It was Iris. I said I couldn't reanimate something that wasn't dead, and he said that wouldn't be a problem. So I agreed. I just played along. I was hoping it wasn't real. I assumed it wasn't real. But he was offering me what I wanted. A temporary insanity diagnosis.
Well, you've gone some... Dekker's gone into some dark territory. So trying to... She said that he was teasing him mercilessly. First of all, I'm like, why would you keep going to somebody that's teasing you mercilessly? They're supposed to be your psychiatrist. But it seems like because of the stuff where he may be going after the idea of people having supernatural abilities, he may have specifically been trying to, like, coerce her into using her power in front of him, because then he could confirm that it was real for his own purposes. And he may have gone through some extreme lengths if he apparently found and captured Iris specifically, the person that David was going off with. Claire says the girl in Dekker's basement was Iris. Kind of a big deal. Alright then, so what happened with Iris?
It didn't happen. Dr. Dekker called me from his house to cancel. He was furious. He said that Iris had escaped, and he blamed me for it. He said that I must have set her free after he told me about her. I knew it was all lies anyways. He was obviously titillating himself by reprimanding me. He knew I'd never want to speak to Iris again, so I couldn't prove it either way.
Huh. So, have you seen Iris since? I didn't really think you'd be able to go down that line, but I'm curious if anyone knows what happened to Iris. What if she just died, or something horrible happened to her? Maybe Dekker was lying. Maybe Dekker really did have Iris captured. He seems more and more like somebody that's up to doing very, 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 very questionable things along the way.
Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my alleged ability. He didn't believe I'd reanimated David. Once, he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl.
Let's go down the changed his mind then. Dekker changed his mind, because we already went down the girl line.
Dr. Dekker asked if I could prove David wasn't dead, so I took him to the lake house. He saw that I was telling the truth. I can take you to see him too, if you like. Would you like to see David, Doctor?
We can do this then, that's a big deal. Yes, I would like to see David. So part of me is a little concerned, because from a, like, Bloodborne sort of perspective, the whole insight concept of Lovecraftian writings, like, experiencing whatever happened with David might be bad for me, but I kind of want to go anyway.
Very well. In our next session.
Well, that's apparently happening then. So next week, or whenever, however frequently these things are, we're going to see David, or what she is claiming is David.
He's buried at Henley Church. You can go see for yourself. There's even a headstone. One of your other patients was a pallbearer. I never forget her face. You should ask him.
So we know about who that is, but I'm not really familiar with the word pallbearer.
Bryce was a pallbearer for David. He's also a gravedigger, I believe.
How is everyone around here meeting each other all the time? Let's see. You said David wasn't buried.
I don't know, Doctor.
What is in David's coffin?
Sorry.
David coffin. Alright, well that's not helping. I'm just curious what's going on specifically in that situation. What is up with David's coffin if he's buried but not buried? Like, you apparently have his body but don't have his body? Like, what exactly is going on there? I think I already tried Henley Church, didn't I?
I'm afraid I don't know.
Try Bryce?
Smuggling a body out of a funeral can be difficult, unless you pay the right people.
Did Bryce smuggle out the body of David? Okay. Isn't that a curious point? Pay the right people.
I don't know what you're after.
That's dead ending there too, that's fine. Bryce, how's it going? Let's just be nice and innocent today. How are you today, totally innocent person?
Hello, Doctor. I've been thinking about our last session, and I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bad person. I know taking naked photographs is wrong, but you don't know what it's like until you face the same temptation. I'm assuming you don't know what it's like. Do you have an extra hour, Doctor?
Yeah, it's called the hour where I edit all of today's videos every day. No, I wish that was an extra hour, that'd be great. No, I do not have an extra hour, I think.
Thank God for that. There's someone else in my hour. A hooded figure, watching me and following me. I followed it too.
Well, that's creepy. Someone else?
Don't know.
Hooded figure.
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you. That I told you about my affliction and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him.
Why would the government care about you if they want to use the hour for themselves? Like, they're probably not going to go after you if they already have access to it somehow. Talk to me about him. Talk about him.
That means nothing to me. Yes, Vienna.
Okay, now you're just being smarmy about it. The military?
I'm surprised I haven't been approached earlier. I mean, my skills and the military. Special ops would be a breeze, wouldn't it? Waltz in past everyone during the midnight hour, get whatever you want, and return to friendly soil. It also makes me think that they might already know all of that, and that they want to get rid of me in case I tell anyone else. Would you do something for me if they get me?
Do something?
In simple terms,
If they get you.
no.
Do something. Yes.
I've nothing interesting.
Yes, I would do something for you if they get you.
Would you tell Jessica? I love her. She didn't really know me that well, but I did love her. And also, there's a hard drive in the bottom drawer of my drinks cabinet. Please destroy it. Please, don't look at it.
Uh-oh. Starting to feel like a little bit of a certain season 3 of Black Mirror a little bit there. Talking about this hard drive that he's deathly afraid of anyone finding. Here's the thing, if you're so freaked out about that, why don't you destroy it right now? Why don't you destroy it?
I don't know what you're getting at.
Destroy it.
Is that supposed to mean?
Hard drive.
There's a hard drive with all the pictures I've ever taken on it. The one in the bottom drawer of my drinks cabinet. Don't let Jessica see it.
How would Jessica, of all people, see it? It's like a crazy sort of direction to go down.
Thank God for that. There's someone else in my hour. A hooded figure, watching me and following me. I've followed it too.
I don't know why I'm messing up that much. Followed it too. I'm just gonna quote him exactly and see if that does something.
Whatever it is that's following me, it doesn't want to catch me yet. If I move towards it, it runs away. And when I follow it past temptations. A bar brawl, an open till, an open bedroom window. Like it's testing me.
Almost sounds like a living person equivalent of like when you have like that speck on your eye and you can't look at it, and as you turn your eye to look at it, it just moves with your eye because it's on your eye, and then when you look away from it, it follows your eyesight. That kind of thing. Temptations.
No. You have an interesting aura, Doctor.
Testing you.
I think that I'm becoming a good person, Doctor. I'm ashamed of some of the things I've done, but I'm getting better. The hooded figure, it's testing my morals. Judging me. For what? I don't know.
What, like the ghost of Christmas future?
I don't know.
Morals.
In simple terms,
It's testing you, going past past temptations. First of all, a bar brawl?
I split the brawl up.
That was dead end. Alright, open window.
I don't know what.
Open window.
I looked in. Watching other people is somehow built into our genes, Doctor. There was an old woman in bed. I went inside. Her bed covers were smoking. I think she'd fallen asleep holding a cigarette. I took the covers and put them in the bath. She'd have died otherwise. And no, I didn't take any pictures.
Open till.
I did nothing. I'm not stealing anymore.
The person took you past a series of temptations, and you fell for all of them, apparently. You went into every single thing to take a look at inside. Not doing the best job at pursuing this hooded figure, are you?
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you. That I told you about my affliction, and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military, or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him.
We could try that. Dr. Dekker, risen from the dead.
I didn't get much.
Alright, let's just talk about Dr. Dekker then.
I spied on Dr. Dekker, not long before he was murdered. I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw in his basement.